what's up? This one is an interesting set of verses. So much so that I want to kind of break it up between today and tomorrow because there's two different angles that I want to go at it from. And so we're going to look at Romans 9:16 through 24, but then we're also going to look at those same verses tomorrow and then get into the verses that precede it. But, you know, people struggle with Romans chapter 9 quite a bit, especially between the Calvinist camp and those who are really sold out for what they call Reformed Christians. Reform. Even in our Baptist camps, there's ultra Reformed Baptists, and there's those that are not so much. And John Calvin came up with the tulip. And I'm kind of down with a lot of like predestination. Totally down with predestination. God predestined you, right? God has predetermined that he wants you in heaven. God predestined you to be his child, but he also gives you free will. And the thing that I'm not down with in Reform camps or Calvinism is this thing called limited atonement, that God died for a select few and he chose and only he knows. And if you're a Christian, you must be with the elect few. I'm not down with that because it's just not biblical in my opinion. And so there is a lot of arguments to be made, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't want to make these devotions about deep theology and to call up debates that don't need to be there because we're just trying to get ready to go to work, right? So we're going to focus more on the application behind what Paul is writing here to us. And so we're going to do that. But you ever seen those gifts that you can buy that are just kind of like joke gifts? I saw one for a tiger repellent rock. Like a tiger repellent rock? Yeah, it's like, so basically you take this rock and you put it in your garden or something like that, and it repels tigers. And in the testimonials on the back of this joke gift, it says, "Ever since I put this rock in my garden, I have not seen a single tiger." Tigers aren't native to my area, but I assume that the rock is just working, right? So it's what you would call specious reasoning, right? Just because you see something doesn't mean that that's what that thing means. So if it's called the tiger repellent rock, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's repelling tigers just because there's absence of a tiger. It might be because there's no tigers around you, the logic really falls apart under scrutiny. But sometimes we do the same thing spiritually. We assume we control God's mercy. That if we do the right things, we can earn his favor. So we'll do all the right things and we'll think, oh, God's still showing us mercy. So that must be the thing that causes him to show mercy, but that's not it. And so we have to realize something, that verse 16 comes right out the gate. So God decides who to show mercy. We can neither choose nor work for it. Mercy is a gift. It's not a right. Mercy is a gift. It's not a right. It's also not a reward. It's a gift. We don't earn God's mercy. He gives it freely. It's like trying to buy grace on good behavior. You just can't do it. Imagine saying to somebody that you can, be my friend, and I'll give you $5 a week to be my friend, right? Are they really being your friend? No. I mean, maybe $5 is not enough money. I'll give you $500 a week to be my friend. Are they really your friend? No, they're not really your friend. It's still a choice. They at the root of it, they have to choose to be your friend. And so God's mercy isn't something that we can purchase with our own righteousness. Like, oh God, if I'm good, you'll be merciful to me, right? No, yeah, hey, we'll still be friends. It's like, no, something that he chooses to give, and he gives it freely. And so that's important for us. But sometimes we will fall prey to this thing that Paul challenges in verse 21, where he says, he's talking about the potter and the clay. Doesn't he have the right to make one jar for decoration and the other jar for throwing garbage into it? We will see something like that and go, wait, so like, which jar am I? Am I the garbage jar? That's not fair. I want to be the jar that has purpose. Like, what about, like, why can't I be like Billy Graham, so, prominent in my preaching? Why can't I have stadiums full of people that I'm preaching to, right? Or maybe you're that way in your job. It's like, man, did God make me a garbage can? That's not fair. No, God made you with a purpose. See, we get our We got our view completely skewed and out of scope. God created you for a purpose, and whatever that purpose is, he does it perfectly. Now, we may look at God creating us and then, well, we're a garbage can, we're throwing garbage into it. I really want it to be a decorative jar, right? And so we assume that he's showing more mercy and grace and favor to the decorative jar than he is to the garbage can. But it's like, well, hold on. Let's pull back just a little bit. The thing that we should be focused on is the fact that God created us, number one, and we do have a purpose. We don't get to choose that purpose, but we know that he has a purpose for us. It says in verse 23, he does this to make the riches of his glory shine even brighter for those to whom he shows his mercy. God chose Israel, but he didn't only choose Israel, did he? His plans were way bigger than just Israel. He extended his grace to both Jews and Gentiles. And how did he do that? He did that through Christ. And so that should make us want to boast in God's mercy. Some of us, not to harp on them a little bit, but those who tend toward the Reform camp like to boast in being chosen. Ooh, I'm the elect. I'm the chosen. So it makes me want to worship God. Well, we shouldn't boast in our fact that we're chosen. We should boast in the fact that we've been shown God's mercy. Ephesians 2:8-10 reminds us, God saved you by his grace when you believed. Seems pretty clear cut there. And you can't take credit for this. It is a gift from God. That's what we should be boasting in. That's what we should be excited about. So we shouldn't fall into the spiritual specious reasoning, thinking that we're the ones that can control his grace, that if we're righteous enough, we could be saved. But also the other side, we can't fall prey to the reasoning that, well, I'm saved, so I must be the only chosen one. I must be one of the God's elect. No, you are saved because of his mercy. You are saved because of his grace. You are saved because Jesus Christ died for the sins of the world. So his glory is revealed through his grace and mercy. And that is better than any theology that we can cobble up in our brains. That is better than any doctrine that we could put to paper. That is better than any rock that we think could repel tigers. Boast in his mercy, not just the fact that you are chosen. Boast in the fact that you are Christ's. That's what I have for you today. We're going to get a little bit more into it because it talks about, hardening Pharaoh's heart and things like that, and the stumbling block for the Jews. And what does this all mean? Is God cruel? Is he unjust? Is he fair? We're going to look at all that tomorrow. I love you guys. Hit the discussion questions, and we'll see you in the next one.